some of the nurses in the 1890s, way back in the 1890s, kind of got talking with the army gymnasts. Okay, so the army was a big deal, and the gymnasts in the army were, kept the soldiers all strong and everything, and threw the big leather heavy medicine balls around, and they were keeping everybody exercised. And so the nurses there were some that did massage, and these army gymnasts, they got together and made the physiotherapy profession. Okay. And right around then too, there was like so much war going on and so much empire building, and actually the empire was dying, and there was like fighting going on, lots and lots of war. Okay, war was like crazy, and so there were a lot of wounded people. There were a lot of wounded people, the amputations, and all this stuff was, and so the physiotherapy profession kind of rose up all over the whole European continent, and I don't know how it was in other continents, but in Europe, it kind of popped up everywhere at once. Like it was kind of like an emergent phenomenon, and the rehabilitation became a profession.
Okay.
And here we are. And we haven't evolved very much since then. And we need to. We need to. Because we're still too pushed down by the biomedical model, and and having to deal with all of the companies that want to sell us all this junk, all of the modalities and all of the ultrasound machines and laser machines, and there are a lot of physiotherapists who still want to try to turn it into a money-making venture, and so they lease all this equipment, and they have all these rooms, and they have all these people working for them, and they're trying to turn it into a factory. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. I don't like it. It's just wrong. It's an interaction between two people. That's what it is. It's an interaction between two people. That's what physiotherapy is.
Okay.
That's what its value set should be. Anyway, according to me, which I'm only one person in the world.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that, because that compromises with the kind of care we give our patients. My practice is only one room. I only have one room, which is so calm, very receptive to patients. Looks nice. Yeah, like it's warm and welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, not in a busy up and down place. People passing by, business center. Yeah, like I agree with everything you said, everything you talked about. I totally agree with that. Yeah, and I see people having practices or centers that of course look like factories. So people are stressed. The therapists there are stressed. It's primarily a money making venture for them, but they end up depressed at the end of the day. They end up depressed, disappointed, and
overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed. Yeah, overwhelmed by the entire setting.
Yes. Yeah, the setting has to be rethought. It has to be redesigned. And so it sounds like you have the perfect setup.
Yeah, exactly. It is because that's what feels like home to me, and for my patients. That's what I think feels good for them.
Great. That's great.
Yeah. So I'm trying to bring new ideas to some of these people. and then let's see how far that will go. Let's see how far that will go.
Fine, you could definitely. I'm happy for you to do that and
Yeah.
just carrying on with trying to do it better. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have some people you know in South Africa?
Do I have people I know in South Africa? The guy, Leonard, the guy who took over the website, he's from South Africa, actually.
Okay.
He moved to the US with his parents when he was only 8 years old when he moved to the United States. Um, he so he doesn't even have any kind of South African accent or anything. He's grew up in the US, but he's from South Africa and he
Okay.
travels back a little bit. Yep.
Okay. There's someone called she's called Ina Dina in South Africa. I saw
Oh yeah?
do you know her? You know her?
No, no, I don't know anyone besides Leonard. I don't know anyone who's from there.
I saw she made a reference in one of that calls she was sharing, and it had your name somewhere there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've seen so many people also uh, referring to your work and your statements, the statements you've made about the body, about how we approach treating people. Yeah, so I think so. I think like the way I was seeing you is that I was seeing you as a high profile person in the physiotherapy profession. Like,
I think the ideas are good ones that will travel by themselves, and it's nice to have someone acknowledge that they came from me. But I mean, I think that they can stand and move by themselves, into the world, and I don't take any credit for any of that stuff. It's like, okay, it's nice to have my name associated, but it's not. They're not strictly my ideas. It's I cobbled them together in this way, but they're not. I didn't come up with them in the first place. Most of them, some of them I did, but most of them I didn't. They came as a result of a lot of effort from everybody that I was associated with in the discussion forums, and so I'm glad that they're traveling. I mean, I'm glad the ideas are traveling. That's good. That's important that they travel and that people learn to think a different way about stuff.
okay, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. And then, of course, most some of my colleagues, of course, they know you, they know about your work. Some people know about your work. Maybe not the details, but they know about you and your work, even this side of Africa, Uganda. Yeah, they know about that, and that's something interesting. So,
Awesome.
yeah. So I've I've seen some videos of you on YouTube. I think
Oh yeah,
you're briefing
they're
about
all
them.
they're all pretty terrible, but that's okay.
Actually, I'm yet to watch all of them, but I will definitely watch all of them to still get more insight into the material, to get a bit of more deeper insight into. Yeah.
Most of it is about most of I mean, the videos are useful for anything. It's about how slow to go and how the pacing of the kind of treatment approach and stuff like that. So it's like um, I think technically they're probably production wise pretty low value. They're not very fancy. They're okay though. Like if people can learn something, any little piece, any little tiny bit that somebody can learn from them, that's fine. I don't mind at all
Okay.
the takeaway points.
Okay. Wow, that's
And
interesting.
they're free for anybody to use as how they want. There's no ownership of those videos. Other people have put them all up, not me.
Okay. So have you been using like was this your main approach in treating patients over the years? Have you been only working like this, or do you have some other way you've been working?
No, in the end, it boiled down to manual therapy, and it boiled down to this kind of style of manual therapy. It's pretty much all that I did. I learned. I mean, it isn't like I didn't spend a couple of decades learning all of the tricks that other people could teach. And one of the best teachers I ever had was for manual therapy, for the actual hands-on stuff, was through the URSA Foundation. It's called URSA Foundation, URSA. There's just this one guy teaching from his home
Okay.
in Edmonds, Washington. He's now deceased, but he was a osteopathic physician in the U.S. And so in the U.S., osteopathic physicians are actual doctors, like they are the equivalent of medical doctors. They take all the same material and do all of the same residencies and deliver all the same babies and do all the same surgeries and everything else as part of their training. But
Okay.
in addition, they do manual therapy. So osteopathic physician, I thought, okay, he'd be a good person to learn from. And so I went and studied many weekends at his little school, learned a lot from him. He taught critical thinking, and he taught also a lot of anatomy, just because he was still thinking biomedically, of course.
Okay.
And so it was after the David Butler class where I had the big wow moment where my brain lit up like a firecracker and like fireworks. It was after that I stopped going down to the osteopathic physician for training because I thought, no, it's the same old stuff all the time. And he's still talking about releasing fascia and all that stuff. It's like, no, no. But but only by name only. Like he was actually at the same time he was actually teaching. He taught embryology. He did teach the nervous system, kind of rudimentary. He didn't talk about cutaneous nerves though, and that was what I really became fascinated by, and I really wanted to learn about those. And he never ever mentioned them at all. So so I stopped going because it was the same old crap all the time.
Okay. So um, what do you think about as a physiotherapist? What do you think about is there anything we can learn from the other professions like chiropractic and osteopath? Is it osteopath, something like that?
The osteopathic profession came up with, or at least individuals within it, came up with all the lateral skin stretching. They didn't call it that though. They called it myofascial release, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
That that word doesn't make any sense at all. But they did teach the procedure of skin stretching. And I think it popped up in chiropractic as well, but it never caught on in chiropractic. They're still all about cracking necks and creating strokes in people. And I'm just not interested in anything to do with them whatsoever. I don't like their profession at all.
Okay.
The Ropers are okay. They're a good bunch of people.
Mm.
They're still, they're still all talking about fascia all the time and everything. It's really boring, but at least their hands feel nice. They do have good hands,
Okay.
and they use them very well. As Robert Rex is a good example, and so massage. Well, massage is kind of good in that they are much more, and always have been much more, biopsychosocial in their approach with people, and
Okay.
they love to create long duration relationships with their patients, with their clients. So the massage therapists they're an interesting group. Um, Back in my day, back when I was, an 18-year-old trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, I probably would have opted for massage therapy had there been a school nearby, but there wasn't.
Okay.
Besides that, I wanted to go to university. I wanted to learn everything about everything. And I thought, okay, well, university is where I want to go to do that. Um, and so I ended up in physiotherapy because that's what they taught there. And that's what I thought, hey, I could do that. Hey, I got hands that I could put on people and help them, get in and out of the Hubbard tank or whatever, like it sounds ideal. You don't have to work at night. And I was, back in that, it was like early days in where I live in Canada, we were way behind everybody else socially. And the progress had not really hit the rural Saskatchewan. It was like we were farmers. We were just like rural, and so I wanted to go to university. It was a great big ambition because we're in my life, in my family, nobody ever went to university. It was like, no, that's just not, and so, but I wanted to go, and I was determined that I was going to go. And I managed to go because the government had a program at that time
Okay.
that would pay my education and pay my living expenses and everything else if I studied physiotherapy.
Okay.
And hey, what a good thing to go. I think I would actually like it. I think it would be good. I'd be in university. I could study whatever I want. I could make a living, and it's only 2.5 years, and I get a diploma, and I can become an adult, and I can make my own way, and I don't have to depend on anybody. It's going to be great. And so I was all excited about going, and that's what I ended up doing. And I did. I liked it. I did. I liked it for the most part. There were these big, holes. Lacuna,
Okay.
the lacuna in the profession, the holes that weren't filled up with anything, and I would stumble into those once in a while, like a pothole in the profession.
Okay.
And then okay, what's missing here? How could we fill up this big space that has nothing in it that doesn't make any sense? Anyway, I just considered the education inadequate for what I wanted in the world. Anyway, long story. I'll just not bore you too much more with that. But yeah, it's just a certain set of circumstances arose, and I was able to go and do what I wanted to do. And here I am, 54 years later.
Okay. So, what do you think about what you call light bulb moments? Like, do they choose you? Why doesn't someone else get a light bulb moment? Why someone and not someone else? For example, why you who saw this and not someone else? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, probably lack of distraction. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't have any other kind of responsibility ever.
Okay.
I don't have any, I never got married to anybody. I never had any children. I've always just been a solitary individual and moving through space and time myself how I want to and whatever, whatever I found enticing, I would go toward that thing. And so my mind got filled up with the stuff that I chose, I chose stuff that I wanted to learn. And that's how it's been. But, I mean, anybody could do that if they, so it's really random. It's really random. There's nothing special going on. There's no, there's no, I have no academic capacity whatsoever. Like I just didn't like the world of academics. Like I didn't like how stuffy it was and how bureaucratic and how layered and hierarchical. And I didn't like I didn't like the atmosphere, the academic atmosphere. So I never pursued that. I still only have just a diploma, and that's okay with me.
Okay.
You don't need anything else. You just need to have a brain that works and eat it good stuff, It'll grow by itself as long as it's functional, I think.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. So I think I think I have similar qualities. Like
I think you do. Yes.
yeah, like I think we share a lot.
Uh-huh. Are you introverted?
Yeah, I've been for like all my entire life. Like I was always seen as the quiet person. I don't talk as much. So like I'm always living inside my head.
Yeah.
So I may seem to be quiet, but I have like 1,000 thoughts going on inside me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's and I began getting all these kinds of ideas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of energy just to keep your mind organized.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
yes, that's something I think we are like one of a kind because I'm always noticing, observing what is wrong, what's not wrong. Yeah, and then of course you begin getting all these light bulbs. You are getting questions: why this, why that, why this, and then you begin acting on those. I think that's what leads us to these destinations.
Yeah. Also carefully evaluating, like just constantly saying, okay, is this better or is this better? Where does it sit? If you just leave it alone for a minute, how does it weigh out? Oh, this one has more value. And so you keep that one, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely that.
It's important to let your whole brain have an opinion, or not just what you think, like, but how you feel about it and how it fits with your values and all the like. It's a lot of it's nonverbal, I find anyway. It's
Totally,
just a
totally.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. And that's something interesting. We share almost the same kind of energy. Some kind of energy is the same. Trying to be a bit full of curiosity. Yeah, that's something I think we share. That's something that is nice. I have like-minded people in the bodywork community who share the same. and I find we bond together. We have a strong bond. We find
Hmm.
we always find each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we
yeah.
always find.
People, they, if you ever get a chance to go to the United States, there's this wonderful, wonderful gathering every year called the San Diego Pain Summit.
Okay, I hear about that. I hear about that a lot.
San Diego.
Yes.
Yes, it's good. It's really good. It's good. It's the best ever for therapists.
Okay.
And it's organized really well by this one woman. Okay. And she's a friend of mine. And we've been friends for a long time now, since 2012. Okay. So quite a few years. And her name is Rajam Ruth. Okay. So she's from Alabama. And her mother called her Rajam because her mother had a friend who was from India named Rajam, and she really liked this Indian person, and so she named her daughter Rajam. So anyway, that's Rajam. Rajam organizes the whole San Diego Pain Summit,
Okay.
the whole thing. From start to finish, she organizes all the speakers and she pays their way and she brings them to San Diego, and like it's a complete nonprofit thing. Like she doesn't make any money doing this. She just makes sure that everybody's happy. And everybody's happy there. It's a great event. And so she brings in these really like unbelievably high up neurology people and all these people. And it's all about pain. Like pain is pain. It's a pain summit. Okay, so it's everybody who's interested in pain as a topic, including people that have pain. They all go there and they talk to each other the whole time. It's like it's structured. You know, there are topics. There are people that speak on the topics. It's scheduled so that everybody has a slot for speaking, and then there's panel discussions, and then then there's workshops, and she's got this whole thing going, and she's had it going since 2015. Okay, so almost 10 years now. It's good, and she has scholarships. Okay, so um, they can be applied for if anyone wants to go, and they can apply for a scholarship. Get
Okay.
paid,
Oh,
like have their way paid. And so anyway, that's something to think about. If you are interested in being part of a social group of people that are of a similar mind frame of worldview on therapy, and it's where all the introverts go to hang out with each other and have fun and be extroverted for a change. So I went there until COVID came by and stopped everything. I went there every year for a long time. Yeah.
okay.
But I
That's
don't go
nice.
anymore.
So,
Yeah.
she's your friend?
She's a friend of mine. Yes. She's a friend.
Okay.
A good friend.
Okay. I think that's something. That's something interesting. I would love to be a part of that. If you would, if you'd put in a word for me, I would love
I
to.
would I would be happy to recommend you. Yes. If you decide you wanted to sometime, I could recommend you. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
know him. The Uganda guy. I know him. We've talked on FaceTime. He's Vizio. He's a good guy. He has
Yeah.
a DNM.
Yeah.
In fact, he said he loved it.
Yeah.
He
I
said
would,
he did.
yeah. I would love to be part of that in case that can be arranged. I can be able to be part of that.
Yeah. Well, you can arrange it yourself. It's only you have to just contact her, and
Okay.
she'd be happy to talk to you. Yeah, she'd be happy to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah.
She's she's very much about building a network all around the world, of like-minded people.
Oh, I've seen that so many times. San Diego Pain Summit, but I didn't know what it was about. Like I never had any idea what it was about. I'm just seeing this popping up everywhere.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah. It's a good time. I think you like it. She organizes it so that everybody is completely free to network, interact, have fun, talk to each other. It's social, but it's not intimidating.
Okay.
It's extremely welcoming. There's a hot tub. um, you know, people that like to be in the hot tub in February in San Diego.
Okay.
But it's intellectually really stimulating. It's good.
Ah, okay. So,
Anyway, I, rec- I recommend it.
okay. That's nice. So, yeah, I think we've had a nice time. Uh, it's like
We have.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, 2 hours.
yeah. Oh, but well,
I've talked a lot to you, and I'm sorry if
yeah,
it's
no.
boring.
Um, that was interesting. That was all interesting information. I've um, I've actually put down some notes from some of the things we've been talking about because it was
Okay, we can stay in touch
yeah, it was making great
again
of
if you
sense for me.
want. We can certainly write to each other on
Yeah,
Facebook. That's fine. No problem.
sure.
And you must be hungry because it's like what 6 o'clock now for you,
Yes, yes, yes.
right? Okay. Well, you take care, and
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
welcome.
for wanting to. We'll see you later.
Okay, all right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.